In the bustling heart of Lagos, Ngozi lived the kind of life many only dreamt of. A grand mansion tucked away in Victoria Island, a thriving fashion empire, a devoted husband and invitations to every elite gathering in the city. Her laughter lit up rooms, her generosity inspired admiration, and her beauty turned heads wherever she went. But one quiet evening everything changed. Ngozi returned home earlier than usual from a business trip, her heels clicking softly against the polished marble floor of her own home. That night, she opened the door to her bedroom and froze. The sight before her stripped the breath from her lungs and shattered the world she thought she knew. 6 months later, passers-by spotted her wandering barefoot through the streets of Enugu. Her once pristine hair tangled, her designer dress torn and soiled. Her eyes, once bright with ambition, were vacant and haunted. What happened that night in her bedroom? What led a woman of such grace and power to fall so far? From riches to rags, from admiration to madness? This is the tale of Ngozi's shocking betrayal. Ngozi was born in a modest compound in Enugu. Her father, Okafor, was a school teacher who instilled in her a fierce determination to succeed. Her mother, Ifeoma, sold fruits in the market to make ends meet. From childhood, Ngozi dreamed of lifting her family out of poverty. After graduating from university with a degree in business administration, she moved to Lagos. There, she started designing dresses for friends from her small apartment. Word of her talent spread quickly, and within a few years, she opened her first boutique. At a fashion show in Ikeja, she met Chijioke, a charming young banker with a smile that could disarm anyone. His confidence and support won her over, and within 2 years, they were married in a lavish ceremony attended by some of the city's most influential people. Together, they became one of Lagos's golden couples. They bought a sprawling mansion, hosted unforgettable parties, and were often featured in magazines as a symbol of love and success. Yet behind closed doors, subtle cracks began to form. Ngozi noticed how Chijioke stayed out later than usual, how he guarded his phone when she was near. Friends and family assured her that all marriages went through phases and she should trust her husband. But her instincts whispered otherwise. The late-night phone calls began quietly enough, a soft vibration against the glass table in their living room. Ngozi would glance over and see his eyes flicker before he stepped outside to answer. Once she caught a glimpse of the screen. The name Adiz flashed briefly before he tucked the phone into his pocket and smiled at her. Adiz, her closest friend. They had met in university, shared secrets, celebrated birthdays together. Ngozi trusted her like a sister. At first, she pushed away the growing suspicion. Perhaps she was imagining things. But then she began to notice the missing money, withdrawals from their joint account she could not explain. Her business started suffering as clients canceled without warning, and suppliers hesitated to work with her. One Saturday morning, Ngozi overheard 2 neighbors gossiping outside her gate. Their words sliced through her like knives. "I saw him drop her off late last night. The wife has no idea. Poor woman. They even say he's planning to leave her soon." That evening she confronted Chijioke. He dismissed her fears, claiming she was letting jealousy cloud her judgment. He even laughed as he walked away. But Ngozi could not let it rest. One evening, she returned from a trip to Abuja earlier than expected. She climbed the stairs, her suitcase still in hand. The bedroom door was ajar. From inside she heard laughter, Adiz's laughter. Pushing the door open, she stood in stunned silence as she saw them tangled together on her bed. Her husband and her best friend. In her own home. At first, they scrambled apart, feigning surprise. But as she demanded answers, Chijioke's face hardened. Adiz smirked, adjusting her dress. "You brought this on yourself," Adiz said calmly. The days that followed were a blur. Chijioke packed his belongings and left. Their friends stopped answering her calls. Her boutique was vandalized one night, and her business license was suddenly revoked. Word spread that she had been neglecting her work, that she was emotionally unstable. Her mother called, urging her to return to Enugu. But Ngozi refused. This was her city, her life, and she would not be driven out so easily. Yet things only grew worse. One morning, a lawyer arrived with papers. The mansion no longer belonged to her. Chijioke had transferred everything into his name months earlier. Her accounts were drained. Her staff quit. Her driver abandoned her on a deserted road when she could not pay his wages. The betrayal consumed her, hollowing her out from the inside. She wandered aimlessly, unable to sleep, unable to eat, her thoughts spinning wildly. 6 months later, she was found in a small village outside Enugu. She wore tattered clothes, her feet bare, her once polished nails broken and dirty. Children gathered around her, whispering as she sat outside a shrine, muttering to herself. When her sister, Neka, arrived to bring her home, villagers told her what they had seen. Just a few days earlier, Adiz had been found dead in her apartment. Alone, her face twisted in anguish. Some said she fell down the stairs. Others whispered she had been cursed. But everyone in the village believed Ngozi's madness and Adiz's death were somehow connected. When Neka tried to lead her away, Ngozi's words chilled her to the bone. They took everything. Everything. But I am still here. Still here. She stared off into the distance, her voice barely a whisper. They thought they could bury me, but they forgot I am a seed. Neka took Ngozi back to Enugu, where she was cared for in a quiet compound on the edge of town. Weeks passed before she began to speak coherently again. Slowly, she started weaving fabrics again, her fingers remembering the craft that once made her name. Though she would never fully recover from the betrayal, she began to smile again, even if faintly. Her mother visited often, holding her hand and reminding her that no one could steal her dignity unless she gave it away. The women in the village, many of whom had once whispered about her, now came to sit with her, offering quiet companionship and bowls of warm soup. Through it all, Ngozi learned something profound, that even when the world crumbles and everything you built is stripped away, what remains inside you cannot be taken. If Ngozi's fall and quiet resilience moved you, I invite you to subscribe to Folktales by Nora. Each of these African folktales carries a lesson about trust, about love, about survival, and together they remind us that even in the darkest moments, light can still find its way back. Stay with me as we continue to explore these timeless tales, and may their wisdom guide you in your own journey.